let's get some insights on JAL from Yasuhiro Matsumoto. He is a senior analyst at Shinsei Securities in Tokyo, and he joins us here in Tokyo. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you think the advantages and disadvantages would be of a JAL bankruptcy, and do you think that 3 years is realistic for JAL to get out of bankruptcy?
Well, actually, at this point, it is very clear for the Japanese government to support Japan Airlines businesses. And that I think that in the next few years, I think Japan Airlines will be able to make a profit with a great support from the government. But at this point, it is not so much sure whether the overall landscape of its businesses, since it is very difficult for the Japan Airlines to spend the time with a tie-up with Delta, and that time is a very critical issue at this point. So that we are not sure about how the Japan Airlines do with that international flight. Of course, the Japanese government has a strong commitment for domestic flight for the Japan Airline and all import airlines to compete each other, but we don't know sure for the international flight, and also we don't know much about that, how much the shareholder will have to pay at this point.
Talking of shareholders, the Asahi newspaper was reporting that JAL shares may be delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange if it declares bankruptcy. Why don't you think that that would be the case?
Well, actually, it's not necessary for that Japanese company to delist its share when declare bankruptcy for the new legal scheme. But at this point, there's a strong resistance from the Japanese banks. They insist that the shareholder has to pay the price. Why that the Japanese banks wipe out all its loan exposure to the company? So, but at this point, there is still remote possibility for that company to maintain listing. But most likely that it's going to be delisted.
One of the things that JAL is trying to do is to cut its costs, to reduce its pension commitments. Now, it's got the support of 2/3 of JAL employees, which is what it needs, but it also needs 2/3 of retirees, and it's only got 1/3 support. It's looking at 13,000 job cuts. It wants people to take early retirement, but given that the retirement pot is shrinking, do you think it's going to be successful in terms of that restructuring and cutting costs?
Well, actually, in order to make a profit in the next few years, Japan Airlines has to reduce its cost basis. So I think they have to execute that plan. But at the other hand, that Japan Airlines retiree may be against that legal bankruptcy or something, and that but they are not willing to give in to approving that reduction of pension costs. So probably that they just wait and see.
Now, JAL has a lot to offer in terms of routes. It's got routes within Japan, from Japan, some very profitable China routes. Delta and American want a piece of that. They're offering at least $1 billion apiece to JAL because they want it to go into their alliances. The Nikkei newspaper, though, says JAL and the government turnaround agency would reject any cash offer from those two, at least until restructuring happens. What do you think is likely?
Yeah, I think it is very reasonable for the Japanese government decide not to accept a capital injection from these overseas airlines at this point. But once that business restructuring of the Japan airline will complete in the next few years, I think the airline will likely receive the capital injection. But at this point, the government will try to lead initiative for restructuring, so they are not willing to accept the money from the overseas airline companies.
As part of the restructuring, the Nikkei newspaper says JAL is going to give up 12 domestic and 14 international routes. We're seeing ANA shares at more than 6%, Skymark 17% higher today. Where would a JAL bankruptcy leave other Japanese airlines, do you think?
Well, I think there must be a wonderful opportunity for that rest of that airline company in Japan. Probably they will benefit from that lost share by the Japan Airlines. So I think that that's reasonable for that people to bet on that other airlines at this point.
Yasuhiro Matsumoto from Shinsei Securities, thanks for joining us on the show.